Hello there, movie friends. Well, I saw Hamnet, and I can't stop thinking about four things. This film is directed by Chloé Zhao, and it stars Jesse Buckley, Paul Mescal, Emily Watson, Jacoby Jupe, and it's about William Shakespeare and his wife Agnes, kind of about their love story and also the birth of their son Hamnet, who tragically dies as a young boy, and it inspires William Shakespeare to write his famous play Hamlet. So the first thing I can't stop thinking about is how beautiful it is. In every single way, it's beautiful. I wasn't expecting it. I just kind of went to it and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's so different than the movies you see in the theaters now. It's so unique because it's not afraid to allow for silence and quiet. The music emanates from it and it's beautiful. I'll get to Hans Zimmer in just a minute. It's beautifully shot. The cinematography is amazing. The acting is amazing. And it's a simple story about how we process grief. You know, we've come so far in 500 years. And at the same time, I don't know that we've really changed. You know, life, love, death, grief, gratitude. What else has changed really? And it reminds me, this movie reminded me of the Ethan Hawke TED Talk. Do you know that one where he talks about art and how important it is and how when there's funding problems, that's the first thing to get cut is art. And it doesn't mean much to the general public or the masses other than pop culture stuff. But when your parent dies or when a child dies or a loved one dies or gets sick or you get sick, all of a sudden art is important because these songs and these movies and these plays and everything are written for those moments in life to put things into focus and to make us remember, hey, this is a play. You know what I mean? So that's what, to me, it's about grief and how we process grief and how art can heal on top of all the things that it's already talking about. It is about Shakespeare, but not really. You know what I mean? It's about these two people who go through this thing that happens to them. And he happens to be a playwright who has these amazing actors that play out the things in his head. And one of them being the death of his son. So I don't know. I thought the whole thing was just beautiful. It hadn't happened to me in a long time. Last time was Breaking Bad, where I finished it and I had to walk around. I had to go get a pint of Guinness after this and just think about it and sit in it. And I could feel everyone in the theater feeling the beautiful emotion from it. So I don't think I'll ever stop thinking about it, to be honest. Okay, the second thing I can't stop thinking about is how the music was so great. And it did emanate from it, so it was natural. It wasn't like, there's a Margot Robbie film coming out, Wuthering Heights, where they're using modern music. That's great. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But this isn't that Hamnet. The music emanates naturally from it. It's beautiful. It fits. The sound design is great. Now, there's some people saying that the use of Hans Richter's song, I think it's called On the Nature of Daylight, is overused and it's cheesy to use it now. Let me throw this out there to you. Of course, everyone has their own opinion, right? But let me just throw this out there. Eventually, it's not going to matter. Like, think about someone 20, 25 years from now who hasn't heard On the Nature of Daylight. They put this movie on. It's the first time they see it at the end. And it's going to blow them away. And they're not going to care. Time and space aren't going to care how much things happened or when they happened at the time they did. The people at the time are going to remember, but that's going to fade. Eventually into the future, it's going to be, what are you feeling in the moment? Does it make sense? Like the final product, the film, the art, whatever it is, it's not going to care what humans were going through in the moment, whether it was being used too much or not enough or whatever. It's just going to be whether it fits, and it totally fits. And I understand why some people don't like it. But I think in time, the beautiful movie that this is, and the music and how it fits, that will win over time. So I'm okay with it. Okay, so the third thing I can't stop thinking about was at the end when Hamlet's dying on stage, right? She's watching the play, the mother. She's seeing for the first time what her husband basically has done. Well, all these people doing this great play, and they're into it, right? And when all the people, the mother extends her hand to Hamlet, who's dying right in front of him, because she reminds him of her boy, right? And all the other people start doing the same thing. Amazing. I'm never going to forget that. Now, could it be cheesy? Could it have come off as you know, corny? Sure, but it doesn't. It's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. To me, it's an unbelievably beautiful moment of who we want to be, who we can be. We all know there's a disparity between who we are and who we think we are. I think we think we're better than we act in modern times, at any time, I think. But this is a moment where we're actually being the people that we aspire to be. They're seeing the same thing that we are. They're watching a play on stage. They're getting into it. They've all had a son die or a parent die or a loved one die, just like us. And they're watching this play on stage, like we're watching it on screen, just like us. And they're reaching out. They're into it. They want to help. That's how drawn in they are to this play. It's a beautiful moment, but it's also, to me, it was also symbolic of everything that we can be as humans. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was amazing. I had to like breathe during it. I know it probably sounds cheesy, but I regret nothing. It was fantastic. I'm never going to stop thinking about it. I'm probably going to think about it every day for quite a while. Okay, and the fourth thing that I can't stop thinking about is how accessible they make Shakespeare feel and how great it is. I can't tell you how many times, and this is, something I've encountered in like acting classes and everything. I want to get into Shakespeare, and then I get into it and I'm like, nah, it's okay. There's some barrier there. I don't know if it's the language or the culture or what, but there's something preventing me from tapping into it fully. Do you know what I mean? But the way that they do it, the build up to it, and maybe this is just something that I'm tapping into the Troy and acting classes and I'm seeing this, but I am just blown away by the acting, how dramatic it is, how in the moment there, how real it is. Amazing performances, amazing, especially the last 15 minutes in that play. I mean, is there anything more relevant, And here I am trying to do Shakespeare. I'm thinking about doing a local Shakespeare, and then I get into it and I go to friends' plays and I enjoy their performances, and when I get into it and I see it online with Andrew Scott or Denzel Washington, it's great. But there's always a barrier that starts to creep up. I never felt that with this. It was amazing. The ending is amazing. And it's the perfect ending to this movie. And when the little boy walks back into the forest and the mom's like, love, you know what I mean? All of that build up, amazing. And I hope that this makes, I don't know. I hope that it makes Shakespeare even more accessible. I think it does. I think if you watch this, you start to feel, oh my God, I understand at least a little bit now, a moment. I'm having a moment with Shakespeare here. I see what people are saying. And that's from someone who doesn't really vibe with Shakespeare that much, or only because I'm unfamiliar with it. And I don't know, I thought it was great. I thought the whole thing was great. I know it seems to be getting good reviews, but people have some criticisms of it. I don't see that. I don't see it. Maybe I'll see it in the future, but right now, it's just great. I know there are some people who want to like it or they couldn't like it all the way. I don't see it. I was moved in the theater. I haven't felt that way in a long time. To be in a room with people, there may be 15 other people in there, and you couldn't just hear the sobbing. You could feel the energy, the emotion of it. There were moments where she was screaming where I thought, all right, everybody calm down. But it didn't continue. I can understand that a little bit. She's just great. Jessie Buckley's just great. Sometimes when there's when there's yelling beyond a certain point, I kind of think, all right, I've got to, but understandably so, right? What a different time period where you've got kids dropping left and right, women dying in childbirth. And I thought one more thing, I thought there was a really beautiful moment where we see a flashback of the mom, Jessie Buckley's character, and you flash back to when she was a little girl, maybe 7 or 8, and her mom dies giving birth to one of her siblings, and the parent takes her away and says, no, she's dead. There's this whole ritual tradition of you can't see a dead body, you can't see what happened, and she's screaming. She lets her daughter see Hamnet when he's dead. She lets him touch him. I thought that was an amazing moment. Almost symbolized kind of like progress or something. Not that you want to go around touching dead bodies, but the idea of like This is going to happen to us. It's tragic. Let's not run from it. Let's look at it. We can be sad about it, but I'm not going to grab you while you're screaming. Just let her see it. I thought that was a beautiful moment. All right, what did you think? I want to know what you thought. What do you think about the music? What do you think about what I said? Anything? Let's have a discussion. I think this is your Oscar winner right here. I didn't expect it going in. I wasn't expecting anything from it. I didn't know what to expect. I love those British films and shows where you kind of have to, all right, this is a way different vibe than the American vibe. You know what I mean? We gotta chill out. We gotta use our brains. They're gonna be using words a lot, so we gotta tune into it. And I think, I don't know, I'm lucky to have lived in England. I went to school there because I felt like I connected with that aspect more. Just the way that they go through things, I think is slightly different. I'm not saying it's better or worse, it's just different. But I think I would have thought it was something else. I think this is your Oscar winner. I think they're going to run away with it. Not that award shows mean anything, but I think it's going to happen. Hamnet, beautiful.